Hello and welcome to your ultimate guide for the D098 Digital Marketing course. My goal today is simple: give you everything you need to fully understand the key concepts, master them, and walk into your D098 OA exam with total confidence. In this video we'll cover digital marketing, marketing methods, precision targeting, omnichannel strategy, data categories, and remember, our website offers free exam guides and practice questions to help you ace your D098 OA exam. You'll find the link in the description below, so be sure to check it out and get the resources you need to study smarter, not harder. So let's dive right in. Digital marketing is marketing that uses electronic devices or the internet to connect with customers. That's the basic definition, but what makes it powerful are four specific things. First is precision targeting. Marketers can create really defined customer segments based on data they've collected and analysed. Second is measurability. Everything can be tracked, which means you can figure out what's working and what isn't using key performance indicators. Third is information. Since everything happens electronically, information is available everywhere and all the time. Fourth is interconnectivity. You see massive amounts of user-generated content, social media presence, and cause-related marketing all tied together. Those four elements show up constantly on the exam, so you need to know them cold. Precision targeting means you're not just throwing ads at everyone and hoping something sticks. You're using actual data to figure out who wants what you're selling. Measurability means you can prove ROI instead of guessing whether your campaign worked. The exam loves questions about which metrics matter and why you'd choose one over another. Before we go further, I want to mention something that'll help you prepare. I've created over 300 completely free practice questions that work with everything we're covering today. You'll find the link in the description. These aren't basic recall questions. They test whether you actually understand how these concepts work together, just like the real exam will. I really recommend bookmarking that link. Now let's talk about inbound marketing versus outbound marketing. This comparison shows up everywhere on the exam. Inbound marketing is also called pull marketing. It involves pulling consumers to your product through two-way communication. The consumer is actively seeking your marketing content. They're using search engines, web feeds, anything where they're choosing to engage. The purpose is to attract strangers with blogs and other content, convert visitors to leads with landing pages, close leads with workflows, and delight customers with events and follow-up. Outbound marketing is push marketing. It's one-way communication that happens when marketers send messages with or without the consent of recipients. This includes display advertising on websites, text messaging, emails that weren't requested. The key difference is who's initiating contact. With inbound, the customer comes to you. With outbound, you're going to them whether they asked or not. The exam will give you scenarios and ask you to identify which approach is being used. They might describe a company blog that ranks high in search results and ask what type of marketing that represents. That's inbound because people are finding it through search, not because the company pushed it at them. Or they might describe banner ads that follow users around the internet after they visit a website. That's outbound even though it's targeted, because it's still pushing messages at people. What we just covered about inbound and outbound is exactly the type of material you'll find in the free practice question bank I mentioned. These questions don't just ask for definitions, they give you situations and make you apply what you know, which is what the actual exam does. Let's move to precision targeting and the specific types. Behavioral targeting is one type. It's based on lifestyle, shopping behaviours, browsing history. You can't do this without consumer consent anymore, and it's often used along with other targeting methods like geography or demographics. The exam might ask you about privacy concerns or when you'd combine behavioural targeting with another approach. Individual marketing is called mass customization. Products get created to individual specifications. Build-A-Bear is the classic example. Kids create their own stuffed animals with exactly the features they want. That's individual marketing because each product is unique to the customer who designed it. Local marketing uses a small, clearly defined neighbourhood or geographic area. You're targeting people based on where they are physically. On the exam, you might see a question about a coffee shop that sends mobile coupons when people walk within 2 blocks. That's local marketing. Or a question about a shoe company that lets customers design their own color combinations and add custom text. That's individual marketing. The exam loves mixing up these targeting types to see if you really understand what makes each one different. Now we need to talk about integrated marketing campaigns and omnichannel integration. This is where students often get confused, so pay attention to the differences. An integrated marketing campaign provides digital communication support to target and reinforce messages in other media. You might upload TV ads to YouTube to create buzz, or use social media to drive people to a trade show. The digital piece supports what's happening in traditional media. Multi-channel marketing has largely static messages across several channels, but the channels don't personalize based on customer needs. You're putting the brand at the center and sending the same message through all channels. The customer sees your message on TV, on Facebook, in email, but it's basically the same message everywhere. No adaptation based on how they responded or where they are in the buying process. Omnichannel marketing is different. It's unified communication across multiple channels that provides a completely seamless shopping experience from first touchpoint to last. Here's what makes it different from multi-channel. You put the customer at the center instead of the brand. The message changes and adapts based on how the customer responds. If they clicked an email but didn't buy, the next message acknowledges that. If they browsed on mobile but came back on desktop, the experience picks up where they left off. The exam will test whether you know this difference. They might describe a retail campaign where customers get the same promotional discount advertised across email, social media, and in-store flyers. That's multi-channel because nothing's adapting. Then they might describe a campaign where the message changes based on whether the customer opened previous emails or where the shopping cart syncs across devices. That's omnichannel because it's responding to customer behavior. If the concepts we've covered so far feel like a lot, that's normal. The D098 exam covers a huge amount of material, which is exactly why I put together that comprehensive practice question bank. Working through those problems will help you see how these concepts show up in real test questions. Let's talk about data types because this matters for targeting and campaign measurement. First-party data is collected directly from the consumer by the company. If someone fills out a form on your website or makes a purchase that you track, that's first-party data, it's yours. You know exactly where it came from, and you control it. Second-party data is the first-party data of another company. It comes directly from another company's customers, based on their website activity, social media interactions, offline sales information. You're getting someone else's first-party data through a partnership or purchase. The data quality is usually good because you know the source, but it's not data you collected yourself. Third-party data comes from an outside source, and these companies are not the original data collectors. The original source is unknown. The data is available to any company, including your competitors. Collection has no direct connection to the customer. This is the data you can buy from data brokers who've aggregated information from lots of different sources. The exam loves questions about which data type to use for specific situations. If you need unique insights about your own customers that competitors can't access, you want first-party data. If you want to expand your targeting by learning about similar customers from a complementary business, you might use second-party data. If you need to scale up quickly and reach a broad audience, even though competitors have access to the same data, third-party might work. The trade-off is always between data quality, uniqueness, and scale. Remember that the difference between these data types isn't just academic. The questions you'll see ask you to make strategic decisions. Given a scenario where a company wants to build detailed customer profiles for highly personalized marketing, what data should they prioritize? First party, because it's the most accurate and unique. Given a scenario where a company wants to quickly identify new potential customers similar to their existing ones, what makes sense? Second or third party data might help, depending on whether they value partnership quality or scale. As we're covering all this detail about data and targeting, remember that understanding it is just the first step. The real mastery comes from applying these concepts to scenarios, which is where those free practice questions I mentioned become valuable. They're completely free and designed specifically for the D098 exam. Let me give you a memory technique for the data types. First-party data is first-hand. You got it yourself directly from your customers. Second-party data is second-hand, but from a known source, like buying something second-hand from a reputable dealer. You didn't collect it yourself, but you know where it came from. Third-party data is third-hand, meaning it's passed through multiple hands, and you don't know the original source. It's been aggregated and resold. Here's a common mistake students make. They think third-party data is automatically bad or wrong to use. It's not. It's just less unique and less accurate than first-party. The exam might give you a scenario where speed and scale matter more than uniqueness, and third-party data is actually the right answer. Don't assume one type is always better. Think about what the scenario requires. Another thing the exam tests is understanding privacy implications. First-party data requires the customer gave you permission. Third-party data might not have clear consent, especially with older data purchased from brokers. Regulations like GDPR have changed what companies can do with third-party data. An exam question might describe a European campaign and ask what data restrictions apply. That's testing whether you know first-party data is safer from a compliance standpoint. Now let's connect this back to the 4 powers of digital marketing we started with. Precision targeting depends on having good data. That's why the data types matter. Measurability works because digital marketing is practiced electronically, which relates to the information advantage. Everything leaves a trail. Interconnectivity shows up in how data flows between platforms and how user-generated content creates new data sources. These concepts all reinforce each other. On your exam, you might see a question that combines multiple concepts, like a company uses behavioral targeting based on first-party data collected from their mobile app to deliver personalized product recommendations. What type of marketing is this, and what makes it possible? That's inbound marketing, because customers opted into the app. It's enabled by precision targeting using first-party data. Questions like this test whether you see how the concepts connect. We've covered a lot of ground here. You now understand what digital marketing actually is, and the 4 things that make it powerful. You know the difference between inbound and outbound, and you can identify examples of each. You understand behavioral, individual, and local targeting. You know what separates multi-channel from omnichannel marketing, which is a huge exam topic. And you understand the 3 data types and when you'd use each one. Here's what you should focus on for exam prep. Make sure you can define each concept in simple terms. Then make sure you can recognize examples in scenarios, which is how the exam actually tests you. Practice distinguishing between similar concepts like multi-channel versus omnichannel or second-party versus third-party data. Those fine distinctions are where points get lost. Don't forget to grab those free practice questions from the link in the description. With the foundation you've built today, plus practice, applying these concepts, you'll be ready for whatever the D098 exam throws at you. The exam wants to know you understand how digital marketing works in practice, not just that you memorize definitions. Go practice turning this knowledge into test-ready skills, and you'll do great.